मैं तो तैयार हूँ, विकास की तरफ देख रहा हूँ मैं तो।
कितने हो गए आपके वैसे कनेक्शंस?
Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to this special seminar, which is in continuation to our process for attaining the UN SDP goals. Today we'll be talking about the second goal of sustainable development, which the UN has adopted and NIMS has also adopted, which is zero hunger. I'm very happy to share that the first goal of the SDP, no poverty, we did fabulous activity and got very good results. I would like to thank all the college, all the principals and the heads, the directors, the staff members and the students of those colleges in helping us to achieve what we thought of in the no poverty goal. I am very sure that as a university we will be achieving the targets we have set for ourselves for all the goals. So December we have adopted the goal number 2, which is zero hunger, and I request our vice chancellor sir now to please take us through about what do we plan to do in the zero hunger. So over to our vice chancellor Dr. Sandeep Mishra sir.
Good afternoon everybody, friends, thank you for joining. And I mean, we discussed it last time also, but you might be wondering why we are talking of these goals. You know, this being basically a university where people have come to study their disciplines or their programs, why should we bother about whatever UN says or of these sustainable development goals? So I have to say that university education is not mere professional education where you just look at your profession, but it is a holistic education which involves not only professional growth but also personality growth, growth in terms of extracurricular and co-curricular activities, and all that kind of thing. So basically the idea is a holistic development of the individual. So that is the main thing, and we cannot have a holistic education unless we are concerned about what is happening to our region, to our nation, to the world in general. So sustainable development of the whole world is a concern of any university, and you being students and faculty of this university should be concerned about what is happening, and that will not only lead to improvement in the professional outcomes, but also as a person who is tuned to what is the requirement of the day from our society and from world in general. So in continuation with these goals, the first goal, as you all know, was no poverty, and you will be happy to know that we did a lot of activities and some of them of permanent nature. So some of the things that we started is not mere for that month. We will continue it forever, these activities, till their need is no longer there. So that is the idea. So the month that we celebrate is only month of initiation of activities. It is not the end of activities. This is just the beginning, and we will like to continue it for as long as required, if required forever. So with this I will start, and I would say that the second sustainable development goal as defined by UN is zero hunger. Now, so what is the definition of zero hunger? So basically it is I think just hold on, let me see why this is coming. So it is it can be defined as a short-term physical discomfort as a result of chronic food shortage. On individual scale, hunger occurs when a person consumes insufficient amount of calories. Literally what it means is that it is a physiological desire to consume food, and at a medical level or at a molecular level what happens is that there is something called neuropeptide Y, which is a neurotransmitter responsible for feeling of hunger, and this neurotransmitter gets secreted and the person starts feeling hunger. So you can see that there are many different definitions of hunger, from the social definition to the personal definition, and then finally medical definition. The important thing to remember is why we are so much bothered about hunger is because nearly 10% of the population, something between 9 to 10% of the world population at the moment is hungry. So I think that is the cause of concern, and that is why we are so bothered about this particular situation. Okay, so now understanding the magnitude of problem, or understanding the types of food requirements. So of course number one is hunger. It is estimated that in 2023 more than 80 crore people all over the world are hungry, and which is nearly 10% of the world population, and that has been a staggering increase from 2019. But the hunger is an extreme form. There is also occurrence of severe food shortage, which happens in about 250 crore of people all over the world, which means lack of access to sufficient nutrition. So again, that has increased radically from 2019 by 39 crore. So at the moment, in 2019, only about 200 crore people were facing this severe food shortage, but as of now 240 crore people are facing this shortage. So that is another important point. The third thing is the food safety. So while some people face food shortage, there are times when sometimes food is available, but sometimes food is not available, and so basically the availability of food is unsafe, and it is estimated that another 200 crore of people worldwide don't have a regular access to safe, nutritious and sufficient food. So these are the problems that our world or our earth is facing at the moment in context with the human population. But as we discussed, different estimations are available, and we would safely say that about 10% of the world population is hungry. But out of these hungry people, it is estimated that 98% of hungry people are present in the developing countries. So countries of Asia Pacific region, Africa and some other poor nations are the ones that are facing this problem of hunger, and that is one. The other thing is that there is this problem of malnutrition, and it has been estimated that 15 crore children not only are hungry but are chronically hungry, so much so that they have developed a stunted growth. And even worse, about 4.5 crore children are not only have stunted growth but have evidence of wasting. And it has been estimated that one child dies every 10 seconds from hunger in our world. So this is the basically magnitude of the problem, and this is why we are sitting here discussing this problem of hunger. Now, who suffers most? So it is like able-bodied people do not suffer that much, but it is the children that suffer the most. And it has been estimated that while again, as I said, different surveys, but about 10% of the population is undernourished, but about 25% of the children are undernourished. So that is the problem. While in general population the hunger is about 10%, but if you just talk of children, then about 1/4 of the children are undernourished. And it has been estimated that 66 or more than 6 crore of school age children who attend classes go hungry. So hungry children are attending classes, more than 6 crore of children. And the World Food Program calculates that we require nearly 3,200 crore money every year to take away hunger from these 66 million hungry school children. So that is the gravity of the problem, and that is affecting the children. And it is also estimated that 1 out of 6 children in developing world is underweight. So that is the problem. Not only they are hungry, but they actually, as a result of chronic hunger, they have become underweight. So you understand the problem. Now what are the causes? Of course we can, we can say a lot of causes: poverty, natural disasters, earthquakes, inability, diminishing natural resources, food shortages and wastages, and war. They are all the general causes that cause this problem of hunger. Now there is something called a global hunger index, which tracks the hunger and malnutrition across the countries, and there are 4 indicators or 4 parameters through which this global hunger index is judged. Number 1 is undernourishment, or the share of the population with insufficient caloric intake. So how much percentage of the population has actually insufficient caloric intake? That is number 1. The second parameter is child wasting, share of children less than 5 years who have low weight for their height. So that is the second. Third is child stunting beyond wasting, where not only they have low weight for their height, but the height is also stunted and becomes low for their age. So this is the third criteria, and the fourth is of course the worst, the child mortality or mortality rate of children less than 5 years of age. And all these 4 parameters together constitute this global hunger index, and the index is calculated on a point scale of 100, where 0 is the best possible score and 100 is the worst possible score. Now why is hunger important? So we can calculate this index and all that, but why do we go to this level? Why do we calculate it? So reason is that at an individual level, when somebody is hungry, then they are more prone to diseases, and if they are more prone to diseases, then their productivity also comes down. So it starts a vicious cycle where the productivity comes down, so less money is available, so more prone to disease, so then even further decline in productivity, and that ends up with the death of the person. So this is a vicious cycle that starts happening once somebody gets hungry. What about the society? Of course the society has to treat these individuals who develop diseases out of hunger leading to malnourishment, leading to the physical problems, and not only that, there is loss of individuals who can earn or who can do a productive work, and so that is why for society also there is this problem. But problem is beyond mere physical deprivation. The problem is also of a psychological and social deprivation. So that is, I think, very important to understand, because if somebody is hungry, then he also starts feeling lonely, then also there is a problem of shame, and the person loses the self-esteem. And actually, if you look around the streets where you go, you will realize that the poor and hungry people have learnt to eat food that is shunned or not eaten by others. So they will, you can see people scavenging or foraging in those areas, dustbins and other places where they are searching for food. This happens when person is very hungry, and then what happens is, in this search they might eat poisonous herbs which are growing in wild, they might beg for stale leftovers, and actually you might see that they even beg for starch water, because once you cook rice, then the water that is remaining is marred or starched water, and there are communities which go and beg for this water because it's rich in carbohydrates and it feeds their hunger. And lastly, of course, if they are not able to do, then some families even sell their children in order to allow them to remain alive and to feed their own remaining children. So that is the real problem, and that is the social problem that happens when hunger is prevalent in the society. And also, you might have seen sometimes, but when the infant gets hungry, starts crying and keeps crying. So mother actually gives them the fingertips which are laced with tobacco, or afim also, actually morphine in certain areas, which are intoxicants and which ultimately lead the child to become addicted as well. So I think we have to understand that this is a very serious problem. It's not and we have to think about it, and we have to do something about it. Now question is, why has this hunger happening? Why does this hunger happen? And as a matter of fact, since 2015 it has been realized that the hunger has started increasing, and there are many reasons. The most important ones being, of course, we know of COVID pandemic, where people's livelihood were lost and employment was lost, and there was a problem and people went hungry during that period. Then of course there are a lot of conflicts that are happening, and we know of this Ukraine-Russia war. Also we know of Palestine-Israel war, and all these not only affect those countries, but Ukraine, as you might know, was one of the largest producers of food grains, and therefore, you know, once this thing happened, the countries which were dependent on Ukraine for food also started going hungry. So that is how conflict can affect not only the countries that are impacted by the conflict, but also other countries which are not. And then of course there is this problem of climate change, and you know, living in Jaipur and other surrounding areas, you might have heard from your farmers say that this time it was too hot in the summers, and many crops that they planted hoping for rains to come and hoping especially the tomato crop was completely destroyed, and so much so that the tomato prices, you know, reached 250 rupees per kg also. So basically, and not only tomato, but it happened with a lot of other things, and so climate changes can affect agricultural outputs, and therefore they can also impact on the hunger problem. And then of course there is this problem of deepening inequalities. Rich people can afford anything, and poor people, and the divide between rich and poor is keeping on increasing. So shockingly, the reality is that we have you know, it's like that snake's ladder game, where you know, in by 2022 we were bitten by snake, and we have reached back to 2005 level. So kind of you know, gone back on whatever we had achieved. And as a matter of fact, food prices are higher in 2015 and 19. Conflict, climate shocks, rising cost of living, civil insecurity, and declining food production have all contributed to food scarcity. So what we need is investment in the agricultural sector, and unless we do that, this problem will persist. Now let us come to India. What about India? Now interestingly, while India is doing so good in other fronts, we were able to launch this Chandrayaan and so on so forth, and we are now like I mean, even Western countries are thinking that India is now a developed country. But the other reality, or the dark side of reality, is that India has slipped to 101st position in global hunger index in 2021 out of 116 countries. So you can see where India is lying, and down from 94th position which was there in 2020. So just 1 year we have slipped by about 7 positions. So that is the real problem that we are facing, and 2023 we don't know yet where we stand, but let us hope for the best. The reality is that with a score of 27.5 on global health index, India has a level of hunger which is lying below its neighbors, not only like Nepal and Bangladesh, but even Pakistan, which we see is now on the brink of let us say bankruptcy. But unfortunately, India has more number of hungry people even as compared to Pakistan. So question is, you would think, why India? Why is this happening of India? Reality is that it's not a production problem. India has actually moved from food shortages, which was rampant in I guess 1970s, 1980s, to now self-sufficient in food production, even having buffer stocks and even exporting the foodstuffs. So it is not that we are not producing enough food, it is a problem of general poverty, and it is a problem of inequity. So that is the problem, and the poor people don't have access to food which is plentiful in the markets. So I think we have to understand the problem, and so that we can take steps. And we, being a university, we would love to have our students who are activists, So we need student activists who like to work on this problem and like to solve this problem of inequity. So not only India, other places also have hunger, and that is why United Nations picked up this Zero Hunger Challenge, which was launched by UN Secretary General, then UN Secretary General 2012, which was Ban Ki-moon, and he announced a global challenge, and his aim was to remove hunger from world by 2030. Now you can imagine that more than 10 years have happened, and where we are in this particular challenge you all know. And but what UN said was that the challenge that UN sorted or wanted to address is to make food systems sustainable, so that it does not keep declining. Example is, like, you might know that the fish, catching fish has become so rampant that amount of fish that is caught every year is declining. Fish like salmon and other fishes, even tuna, that quantity is declining year by year. So that is one problem, because the farming of fish or fishing is not sustainable. Sustainable thing is when the level remains same every year or increases, so then it becomes sustainable. Unfortunately, this is happening with our food production. Many places the food productions are going down. Then the other challenge is, of course, rural poverty, and that is basically a question of inequity. So urban areas are rich, they can afford all kinds of food are produced in rural area, but these rural people are unable to access this food which they themselves are producing, rather it is going to the urban area. So we have to tackle this problem of rural poverty. Then I think very important, eliminate waste of food. I think people who are in the richer spectrum or otherwise, they should think about this food wastage, which UN has also identified as a very important thing that can be addressed. And so everybody should make sure that you should on the plate take only that amount of food which they can consume. Nothing should be wasted, nothing should be left. Likewise, kitchens should make only that much food which they can consume. They should not make extra food, and if they have, then it should be distributed. So I think those are the things and those are the challenges, and those we have to address. And then of course we should add malnutrition. So how UN proposes to do it? It wants to end poverty, which as you know is SDG goal number 1 anyway. Then end malnutrition, then food donations. So if you have some excess food which you are not likely to consume, which might go bad, better to donate it to some people who can use it. Then we have to support our small farmers, because these are the ones, the majority of production comes from small farming, at least in India. Maybe not in US or other big countries like Russia or US, but at least in India, it is the small farmers who constitute the bulk of the food production. So we need to invest in them. Then we need to invest in biotechnology. So better soil, better seeds, and all those things we can leverage biotechnology to improve food production. Then sustainable agriculture. So it should not happen that every year the output of the farm is declining. We should make sure that the output remains same or increases, and if required, agricultural subsidies. So this is what UN proposes to do it. Now what we can do at our end in India? I think first thing that we can do is don't waste food, and I think that is the key thing, because at least the food that is there can be utilized by everybody. So don't waste food. I think that is the one of the important things. But then there is also, we should provide social protection, and so maybe we can have some wage or people who are have low poverty, they can get some fixed amount of money so that they are protected from going hungry. Safeguard safe and nutritious food, transform food systems, and invest in rural, urban areas, and social protection to poor people wherever they are, whether in rural, urban, or wherever in parts of society, they should be given some protection. Then why university then your question will be, okay, we can do it something at our level, India can do it at the level. Why we are talking about university? Because there are a lot of things that the university can do. Number one is, of course, advocacy. So you can be activist, you can advocate food security and help in policy development. Then university can do academic programs which relate to awareness and which relate to solutions for ending hunger. Then the universities can undertake research projects of why this food insecurity is happening, why hunger is happening, and that kind of thing. And finally, the university people can engage with community and deal with this particular problem. So I think these are the ways where we can work. Particularly, I would say a few things. We should avoid food loss and waste from university level and percolate this message all over. We should improve safety of food supplies. We should conduct workshops, training sessions, and other on-site consultations which can help in all these problems. Some of the things that I have thought of what NIMS can do, and Dr. Mathur here will actually talk to you about in detail what NIMS is planning, but these are some main things. One is that some things we are already doing, we are giving free food to patients and to their attendants, and that is something we are doing. So we should be able to properly document it. Then the food that goes waste in canteen and mess should be distributed to needy people. Then also what we are doing is we are working with some restaurants and other food outlets where we are going to collect their waste or unused food and help in distribution of that food by providing food boxes in different areas. Then we are planning to sponsor some orphan children with special needs and take care of them. Then we have some land lying free with us at the moment, and we are planning to do some organic farming, putting vegetables, fruits and herbs. We are of course going to conduct academic programs on food wastage and also food security. We will like to use products which are available from the local sources and not use those refrigerated products that are available which coming from different places. And of course we will help develop policies to reduce food waste, not only in our university but for community in general. And we will be holding some exhibitions where we will talk about some types of food and what are useful where. So thank you so much for your kind attention, and I will hand over to Mr. Mathur, and he will detail you with what activities that we are planning, specific activities that we are planning at NIMS, which I hope and I request you to participate in with full vigor. We are also going to do some quizzes, we are going to do some poster presentations, the slogan writing, etc. I think Mathur sir will detail all of those, and we will end up with a pledge that we will take to for zero poverty hopefully by 2030. So Mathur sir, please.
Thank you sir, thanks a lot. Thanks for giving us in detail about what is the hunger index and how the UN and the university plans to give its contribution towards eradicating the hunger. So when we talk about the university's contribution to it, the main objective of the SDG Zero Hunger goal is to end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. So as the university, we have planned a few activities. We had asked all the colleges to give their activity plan. I am very happy to share that every college is very serious about this mission of zero hunger. And as a university, we have taken a few steps. One of them is we have a lot of food outlets. We have messes and around 10 food outlets here in the campus. So every food outlet will paste some banners which will signify how to avoid food wastage and why food wastage should be not taken, and others are there who can have the food if we waste the food. Next, we will be doing some knowledge activities in terms of Nukkad Nataks, which will be held in those messes and also in the food outlets, wherein the students will be taught about the importance of helping hungry people. As far as the colleges are concerned, we have received the activity plans from all the colleges. Like I will share a few examples. NIMS School of Business are planning to distribute pots, seeds and manure to the village and the women. They will study the temple practices. This is very interesting. They will study the temple practices. What will be required to start a kitchen for the needy in a temple, which is an ancient practice in the country. They want an introduction of an app to collect the leftover food after any function. Also pitching the idea of contribution towards sustainable agriculture. This is what the NIMS Business School has planned. The NIMS Medical College is doing activity like interaction and reassurance to the population, telling them the importance of sustainable food and the nutrition. They are planning to distribute milk for infants, jaggery and groundnut sweet to the pregnant women, and also distribution of fertilizer to the farmers. And this activity is a self-sustainable activity. They are collecting money from the students and then they are distributing all these things. Pharmacy College has given a slogan, defeat hunger, embrace the commitment to prosperity, utna hi lo thali mein, व्यर्थ न जाए नाली में. This is the motto of Pharmacy College, and they are doing a couple of activities in the nearby villages like awareness program on animal welfare, economic viability, distribution of leaflets on the cheaper food options and also the local availability of the food options. They are also working on preventing food wastage by giving awareness on food wastage and also promoting donation of food to the needy people. Pharmacy College will be doing some programs on sustainable farming practices like crop rotation and diversification and also promotion of nutritional crops. NIMS Nursing College, they will be also going to the field and they will be making people aware about it, awareness and education. They will be conducting workshop on nutrition, health and sustainable living practices and also develop educational materials for the ongoing outreach activity. If we talk of paramedical college, they are also going to nearby colleges, especially the Kamarpura and the Shahpura, and they'll be doing those awareness camps in form of activity. They are also collecting the money from students and all the students will be doing this activity through the college. NIMS School of Law, they are conducting some seminars. They are also petitioning the Indra Rasoi. They are signing a petition in the village of Chandwaji, that is the Indra Rasoi, an awareness camp. They are also doing an art project for eradicating hunger, which is a collaborative event with the villagers of the nearby villages. These are the activities which law has planned. There are certain campaigns which are being planned by humanities and liberal arts. They are focusing on Zero Hunger Champions, which aims to mobilize students and teachers, which will be going to the surrounding areas and doing the awareness program there. The target audience will be Chandwaji and the nearby areas for the humanities college. Physiotherapy is also doing an awareness program on nutrition and diet. And also the NIMS Institute of Engineering, the best thing they are doing is they are developing an app wherein they will track the food wastage, and also on the app there will be two people, the restaurant owners who have the food which gets wasted if they have excess food, and also the NGOs which will collect the food and then distribute to the villagers or the needy people. So they will be doing a community food sharing app. They will be making this app. They also are doing a machinery and hydroponic work wherein they will teach the sustainable agricultural practices to the villagers, and also they will be doing seminars on food preservation. So there are a lot of activities which are being planned by all the colleges of NIMS University. Posters. And yes, we are also doing for all the students and the staff members, we have a slogan and the poster making competition which has already started and it will end by Friday. So all entries are to be submitted by Friday. As a university, we are signing MOUs with all the restaurants and the hotels on the Zero Hunger, so that we can collect the food wastage, and we will also train the staff members of all the food outlets on the restaurants and the hotels on importance of nutritious food, on the importance of sustainable food, and also how to arrest the food wastage, and we'll be having a formal MOU signed by them. So these are the activities which are being planned under the SDG number 2, which is Zero Hunger, and I'm pretty sure the kind of response we got on the no poverty SDG goal, all the colleges will strive and achieve what we have thought of, what our chairman and chancellor, Professor Dr. Balveer Singh Tomar sir has thought of, and NIMS will be a very, very big factor and very big contributor in achieving all the sustainable goals which we have pledged for this, the UN mission. And now I'd request all the all the students and all the staff members to please stand up, and we'll take a hunger pledge. I'll repeat the words and then you can repeat the pledge. So we'll be starting the pledge in next 30 seconds. वीडियो में दिखाना है,
वीडियो पे दिखा दो, आ जाइए ना, हम लोग आ जाते हैं, वीडियो पे कर लेते हैं, जो लोग आ सकते हैं इधर आ जाओ।
आ जाओ। लाइव है? नहीं आ रही क्या? कोई बात नहीं, मैं पढ़ता रहूँगा।
क्या नहीं आ रही स्क्रीन पे?
Pledge नहीं आ रही। So I'll request everybody to stand up and we'll take a pledge for zero hunger. The SDG goal number 2. You can repeat after me.
आ जाओ जितने आ सकते हो।
Vikas. प्राची, इधर आ जाओ, कोई फोटो खींचो, गंभीर जी फोटो खींचो। Can we start? Kailash? Okay. I pledge to contribute towards achieving UN Sustainable Goal number 2, zero hunger. I pledge to raising awareness about food security, promoting sustainable agriculture, and supporting initiatives that ensure equitable access to nutritious food for all. I pledge to reduce food wastage, embrace sustainable food practices, and advocate for policies that address the root cause of hunger. I pledge to work towards a world where no one goes to bed hungry, and where food is the basic human right for every individual, regardless of their circumstances. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And I'm sure the whole university will strive towards achieving this sustainable development goal number 2. Thank you.